in the day after. I mean, my point I'm making is it's easier to you can trade on 15 minute time frame if there's a clear trend and there's a clear trend and smooth. Because this is smooth. Look, it's making low lows, high lows, low lows, high lows, low lows, high lows. Whereas this one's a bit messed up. Look, it doesn't. The trend is not clear. Basically, what I'm saying. It's a bit of a consolidation. It is moving upwards, but it's just a bit choppy. So you wouldn't. So you just stick with one hour is much more smoother. But it depends on the trend, I guess. So, anyways, so I was looking at this. I was like, okay. So we clearly have. So we made this was a higher high. We made a new low, and then we made lower high, and then it failed to make a new low, and then we made a higher high. So that kind of shows out on a uptrend. So I was like, okay, this goes here. So okay, well, just what I'll do is I'll draw my support level. This is my support level because it made a new high. So this I would call this indication. So it's indicating when it's to go up, and then this is the support level. Support level usually just different color shade. But let me close this first. So what it's done is, so this is what we see on a 1 hour time frame. So it made a new high, which I call indication, and then it came all the way down to here to build some sort of support, and then it tried to make a new high or tried to get to the previous high. It failed, and it made a small correction, and then it failed to make a new high again. So it came down. You can call it liquidity, but whatever. It failed to make a new high, so I would call this. We're still on an uptrend because it hasn't broken the previous low, which is here. And then obviously on a longer time frame, the previous low it's that. So anyways, and then it made a small low, and then it fell to make a new high, and it just broke. It's on a you can see it's on a downtrend. So look at this. I was like, okay, on a bigger if you look at a bigger picture, if you're going 2 hours, it looks like we're going up because that's what the previous low was. But on if you look on 1 hour and if you kind of break it down, you can see that it's trying to make it failed to make a new high. So it's trying to make low inner lows, I would say. So on the high time frame, it's making it wants to build some sort of support here and just literally pick up liquidity, get more money before you're going up. So you can see it hasn't broken previous 1 hour. You look at 4 hours there, then new high. It's coming down to build a support level. It failed to make a new high, but it hasn't broken the support level. Even though it failed to make a new high or break the previous high, it's also failing to break the previous low. So we're still on uptrend since it hasn't broken the previous low. If you look 1 hour, look support. It hasn't. Kind of closure is what I'm looking for. Even on a wick, it hasn't. Look, the wick is all over here. So if you look on 1 hour, on a bigger picture, it looks like it wants to go back up, but it just wants to pick up some money, get some more liquidity. But if you look at it on like I said, 30-minute, we can see that you can trade within the big. Look, this is the big trend, okay? Big trend, he wants to go up. If you look at the bigger picture, but if you go on a 30-minute, you can see that it's even on a look at 1 hour. Forget this one. Do you know what? Forget that one, okay? Look, even in here, we've got a so if you look at it, it came down all the way here. Look, made a low, lower high, low, lower high, low, lower high, low, made a new low, but it broke the previous lower high. So that means it wants to go up. As you can see, it came down to make a new high low. It failed to make a new high, but it also failed to break the previous low, higher low, and then decided to make higher high, higher low. So in a way, this looks like it wants to go up because also we still have that support level. It never broke. So it looks like if now that's on a look at it on a bigger picture, look at it in terms of here. But now if you go if, from here, look from here up to here, it looks like it wants to go up. It generally does want to go up. However, if you look at it closely on, let's say 30-minute, it has been. If you look at it, look, made a new low. It failed to make a new high. It made a new low. Failed to make a new high. It made a new low. Failed to make a new high. And it wants to come down. Maybe. But now, that's if you look within the trade itself. So I'm thinking, right? So it clearly made a. So let me just get rid of this. Nice. If you look at it, it made a new low, made a lower high, made a new low. So it never broke. Look, it never broke the previous low. It made a new low, made a new high, lower high. Made a new. It didn't make a new low. It just kind of came down to support it. But it also failed to break the previous lower high. Then it made a new low. So it has to get here. Look, since it made a new lower high, lower low, it needs to come down. Most of the time, 99% of the time, it wants to come down to retest. And then it may fail to make a new high. It failed to break this and it came down. It didn't really get to here, but it hasn't also broken that level. So I'm thinking on Monday, or even on Tuesday, they'll probably just play about during New York session. As soon as it probably hit this, or even come down to hit previous prior to New York session. So everyone thinks, oh, it's going back up, and then boom, during New York session, boom, come all the way down here. That's where it gets all the volume, and as soon as it's below this level,